Did you know that Bligh Street and O'Connell Street are named after two men who were supposed to be political enemies but ended up as father and son-in-law? Lieutenant Colonel Maurice O'Connell was sent to Sydney in 1809 to replace the chaotic regime of Governor William Bligh. Instead of fighting, O'Connell fell in love with Bligh's daughter Mary, forcing a reluctant Bligh to give her away at a shotgun wedding at Government House just before sailing back to England. G'day, and we are on Bligh Street. You guys got those likes on the Hunter Street video, and here we are. As we make our way down Bligh Street, take a look at this stunning building at number 31. Today, it's home to the famous Lowy Institute think tank, but back in 1884, this was the exclusive New South Wales club, the ultimate 19th century gentlemen's club, where Sydney's elite, wealthy and powerful colonial society called the shots. It was designed by William Wardell, the same legendary architect behind St Mary's Cathedral, who modelled it after a classic Italian Renaissance palazzo. Right next door is Norwich House, and looking at it just instantly transports you straight back to the 70s. Completed in 1970 by the legendary architecture firm Stephenson and Turner, this is a classic piece of late modern architecture. With its heavy concrete blade walls and deep framing, it perfectly captures that gritty old school corporate era. It wasn't just office space either. It sat at the absolute centre of Sydney's trading boom. Because of its prime location, its lower floors practically operated as an extension of the Sydney Stock Exchange floor. Back in the day, this place was packed with high-flying stockbrokers, shouting runner boys, and chalkies frantically updating stock prices by hand. It's pure 70s financial history frozen in stone. This massive towering cylindrical building on the corner is 1 Bligh Street. Opened in 2011 and designed by Germany's Ingenhoven Architekten alongside Architectus, it looks like a perfect cylinder from below, but it's actually a brilliant ellipse. The architects chose this unique oval shape for two reasons. It perfectly handles the awkward bend where the city grids collide here at Bent Street, and it maximises the premium views looking out towards Sydney Harbour. It's a masterclass in modern engineering featuring a double skin glass facade with computer-controlled blinds to block out heat. If you look inside the open ground floor, you can see straight up into a dizzying 120 metre high central atrium that lets natural light pierce all the way through the building. It's an incredible piece of design. The street itself is named after Governor William Bligh, one of the most famously controversial figures in naval history. Long before he became the 4th Governor of New South Wales in 1806, he was the captain of the HMS Bounty. In 1789, his crew famously mutinied against his famously aggressive iron-fisted leadership style and cast him adrift in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in a tiny 7-metre boat. Against all odds, Bligh's legendary navigation skills saved his life, sailing that tiny boat over 5,800 kilometres back to safety. Fast forward to Sydney, and lightning struck twice. Sent here to clean up corruption and crush the illegal military-controlled rum trade, Bligh's abrasive temper infuriated the local military. In 1808, the New South Wales Corps marched on Government House and overthrew him in the Rum Rebellion, the first and only military coup in Australian history. Bligh is literally the only man in history to be mutinied against on both land and sea. As we head down onto O'Connell Street, we run right into a spot that completely rewrites a comment I made in a previous video on Bent Street. Back then, I talked about how the Winter Garden Podium was one of the best looking, most elegant commercial structures in this pocket of the city. But the fast moving reality of Sydney planning has completely changed the game. Property giant Lend Lease has secured a massive planning shake-up for this exact precinct. While the beautiful original 36-storey 1 O'Connell Tower and the external form of the Winter Garden Corner podium are going to be strictly preserved and structurally renewed, the space around it is going vertical. A massive, ultra-tall 309-metre next-generation skyscraper has been approved to rise directly out of this site. Standing over 70 stories high, this new commercial giant will literally match the height of the Sydney Tower Eye spire tip, completely redefining the skyline. It's a crazy reminder of how quickly this city moves. The exact spot we're looking at is about to transition from an elegant local favourite to the base of one of the absolute tallest superstructures in Australia. Just down the road is a beautiful slice of old world Sydney, the heritage-listed Public Trust office building. Opened in 1926, it is a textbook example of interwar-free classical architecture. What makes it truly belong to the city is its facade, completely wrapped in classic Sydney yellow block sandstone. This is the iconic local stone, famously quarried out of spots like Piermont and Bondi, that gives Sydney's historic buildings that warm, honey-coloured glow. Look closely at the stonework and you can see tall, flat columns stretching from the 3rd floor up to the 7th. The state government bought the building in 1941 to serve as the main headquarters for the public trustee. While the inside was completely modernised in the late 20th century, this striking sandstone facade has been strictly preserved to keep O'Connell Street looking incredibly grand. As we head down toward the end of O'Connell Street, we have the stunning heritage building on the corner. Long known to locals as the Radisson Blu Plaza Hotel, it has recently rebranded as Paradox Sydney. Originally built in the 1920s as Wales House, it served for decades as the massive, bustling headquarters for the Sydney Morning Herald newspaper. It's a beautiful piece of the Roaring Twenties that is still adapting to the modern city today. This stretch of the walk also brings us into a massive historical family drama. The street is named after Sir Maurice O'Connell, and his story is a wild ride. Before arriving in Sydney in 1809, he was a penniless Irish soldier of fortune. He actually trained in Paris for the Catholic priesthood before abandoning the robes for the sword, fighting on the French frontier and surviving the brutal West Indies campaigns, where his bravery fast-tracked him up the ranks. Macquarie brought him to New South Wales to clean up the mess left by the Rum Rebellion, the military coup that overthrew Governor William Bligh. But instead of keeping his distance, O'Connell fell head over heels for Bligh's fiercely loyal, headstrong daughter, Mary. Within months, they were married right inside Government House. The marriage caused such a political headache that Governor Macquarie essentially exiled them, shipping O'Connell and his regiment off to Ceylon, modern-day Sri Lanka, in 1814. There, O'Connell commanded troops in the bloody Candian Wars, eventually earning a knighthood. The story comes full circle in 1838 when O'Connell returned to Sydney as commander of all military forces in New South Wales. There we go, that is the story behind Bligh and O'Connell streets. Next time, we are diving into the street named after the man who started it all, Governor Arthur Phillip. Hit the like button if you like these walks, subscribe, and if you really like them, consider becoming a member. Thanks for joining me today. See ya.